Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond the Summit Overwatch Cup. We're getting ready to start our 5th out of 8 matches today. It's going to be another best of 3, this time in the losers bracket between Code 7 and Splyce. I'm Ask Joshy, casting all day with Jamerson, and right now we are already in the map vetoes. You can see Volskaya, Anubis, Ilios, Nepal, and Lijiang all gone, so do not expect to see a King of the Hill or a double cap map in this series. Hanamura also gone now, just payload maps left.
Yep, so that's going to be Splyce getting rid of all of those assault maps. We do already have Dorado, Hollywood, Kings Row, and those are going to be 3 maps that we're going to be choosing between now. We're just going to see which map is going to be the first one, and that's going to be Hollywood. So Hollywood, Code 7, and Splyce. We saw Code 7 earlier on Hollywood, I believe, right?
Yeah, Hard Blue, I do remember doing some Roadhog tactics and getting shut down by Cloud9. So that was our last winners bracket match, Code 7 versus Cloud9 that we saw Hollywood. Now we'll make sure everyone's comfortable with their attacking and defending before we head into it. But this is going to be the last lower bracket match that we have for you today. So one team is going to go home. The other will be moving on, of course. And then after that, we will wrap up the winners' semifinals. It's going to be Envious versus NG Red and Luminosity versus Cloud9. Both of those matches should be quite sick. This one also should be quite sick. I would give the edge to Code 7 on paper, but Splyce did have a pretty good battle earlier today against Luminosity.
Yeah, they did, but I mean, I think the bigger story was Code 7 and their match against Cloud9. I mean, they went 2-1. It was so close in that final point. I believe Hollywood was where we finished it off. Or was it Kings Row? Kings Row.
Kings Row is what we've seen in basically every series.
Okay, but you know, Code 7 played their hearts out and they almost toppled Cloud9. You know, they dropped the Nepal, I believe, to Cloud9, and ultimately that final map, Kings Row, is where they were shut down. But they're playing really well today. Harblue was just a madman on all those different tanks. You know, he was doing a really great job on the Roadhog, and especially with the Winston. You know, he would engage at the right times, and like you said earlier on today, it looked like he was going in far too early, but he would survive for so long in the backline and do so much work for them. So we'll be looking to him to see if he can help carry his team on those tanks.
Yep, looks like Splyce is back in the lobby, ready to go. So we'll just make sure Code 7 is also ready to go before we head on into Hollywood. Thank you so much to everybody hanging out with us today for the Beyond the Summit Overwatch Cup. This is Beyond the Summit's first venture into Overwatch. Happy to be here with them. And looks like both teams are now ready. So we'll be getting in just a moment.
All right, so we're moving on to Hollywood. It was
prepare to attack.
Excuse me, it was Splyce who got knocked out earlier by Luminosity, like you said, and of course Cloud9 knocking down Code 7 here to the losers bracket. Now remember, if these teams get knocked out from the losers bracket, they are done for this particular tournament, this particular cup, but they will be able to return 2 weeks from now for our next cup. The top 2 teams will be moving on to our final cup that will be taking place in August, the first week of August. So the losers aren't out of it yet.
That's right, and just to remind you what they're playing for, it is $10,000 all when everything is said and done about a month from now in August, as you said. So lots of money on the line. Definitely one of the larger events that we've seen so far. I'm actually kind of surprised at the number of 5-figure events that have sprung up so early in Overwatch's life. Definitely a good sign. There's that $100,000 ESL event that qualifiers are going on for now as well. So happy to see Overwatch competitive really ramping up. These pro teams are playing in events every single day now. In fact, some of them having to make difficult decisions about events that they will or won't play in already. So there's already amateur events popping up. So you can try to find those. r/competitive Overwatch on Reddit has a tournament calendar. If you're interested in playing some competitive Overwatch, there's definitely avenues for you to do that where you won't just immediately get stomped by, you know, Gale Force, Cloud9, Luminosity, all these great teams. Or sorry, Gale Force. Got to stop saying that. Code 7 is their official name again. They were Gale Force throughout release, but now they are back as Code 7, and we're going to see them perform here for us now on Hollywood. The doors are open, and they are on the attack.
Yeah, so Splyce defending over here. It's going to be Papa Smurf on that Reinhardt, Cozen, of course, on that Mercy, Pure on the Lucio. They are continuing to push in. Sickness is on that 76. I want to get this out. Flame is on the Roadhog, and then Clockwork on the Reaper. Now Nicholas over the top with the 70s, with the Farah isn't able to land any shots quite yet, and we do see Sickness playing that 76 on top of that cafe, which is the usual spot for him. So it's gonna be up to Nicholas to try and force him out of that position.
Yeah, immediately with the concussive blast right after you say that does launch him back onto the point itself. Sickness dropping the biotic field, just looking again to get on the high ground and shoot down or up at Nicholas as he starts to come into view. But first you want to take out that Mercy. Shake is one of the stronger players on Code 7 so far today with those massive reses. We got the tac visor open from Sickness. He immediately guns down Nicholas, now looking for basically whatever he can find. JKW goes down and Torque does as well. Shake gets a big 3-man res before going down, but I think that Splyce is going to be fully in control of the point here.
Yeah, we do see Nicholas does get the barrage off, gets one kill onto Fiora. Papa Smurf also drops his JKW, is able to swing onto Koz and takes him out. Flame does get a consolation prize. He's still back here, tries to get the ulti off, but he's going to get cleaned up, and it's going to be the first point for Code 7.
Yeah, actually things were looking good, but the res did make enough of an impact. Shaked with that triple res and then immediately falling. Gotta say Nicholas actually ended up being the one doing the bulk of the damage afterwards, but having those tanks come right back into the fight definitely provides a lot of support for those damage dealers just to stay alive. So everything went well for Code 7. They managed to take that first point in just over a minute, and now we are pushing through the streets of Hollywood, this Wild West set. Normally you want to see the defense set up on this rooftop. You can actually see Sickness and Papa Smurf riding that elevator up currently, allowing Kozin to jump up to them. But essentially they're just waiting for that payload to get close enough that they can jump down and try to fight on the payload itself.
No, Fiora does get picked off by Nicholas, and that's when it's forced down on the side of Splyce. Oh, Hook comes in, Harblue gets that kill onto Sickness with the help of Nicholas. Clockwork is trying to get that flank, but he has to be careful. He does actually damage himself with his own rocket, and JKW is going to start swinging on, gonna take him out, and now Code 7 just pushing forward unabated. They're gonna be able to get some good distance on this payload.
Yeah, they're pushing right through here past the saloon. I see Reinhardt here for the defense just waiting, actually jumping on Torque, coming in unwittingly, but there's that Graviton Surge. That's going to grab everybody on the defense definitely long enough for the payload to push into the checkpoint. No one there to contest, and yeah, suddenly 6 minutes available for just the last stretch. Lots of kills going out on either direction. JKW, Torque, and Nicholas scooping 3 kills there at the end are going to allow them to push pretty freely at the beginning of this last stretch.
Yes, Splyce, that was a desperation attempt on them to try and stop that payload. Nicholas already proxying, gets the kill onto Kozin, but Sickness will answer right on back. Harblue finds the nice kill onto that Reaper. So this payload continued to push forward and hasn't been stopped quite yet from Splyce.
So far so good for Code 7, cruising right along even through the last stretch. This is normally where you'd see the defense posted up and they're just going to pass it with ease. No one there set up to stop them yet. Flame is going to be on that Reaper now, trying to find some damage on the squishies or at least help contest that payload. Contesting is obviously the key here. Just stopping it in its place. One person can contest against 6. It doesn't matter as long as there's one person there in the defense to stop it. We hear the tac visor going off from Sickness again, but it looks like Code 7 are easily just crushing through. No one actually with their body on the payload to stop them. Clockwork gets a barrage in, but the big res again from Shake brings everyone back into play. Nicholas, airborne. Actually, no, I misspoke. Several members of Code 7 were actually still dead there. Did not get caught up by the res, so Harblue going to be the last person staying for Code 7, immediately falls as he's the last person left, and everyone now resetting. Finally, Splyce has got some breathing room to set up their defense.
Yeah, you know, not the worst ult to use. Shake will have it up soon enough. He's already at 40%, so the resurrection, you know, go for that miracle res, see if they can pull anything out, but right now it's going to be Clockwork playing that Farah who does have control over the top, but it's going to be Code 7 pushing in from the left-hand side. Flame gets that crucial pick onto Shake, so Shake immediately out of the fight. Clockwork finds the kill onto Nicholas with that mid-air body shot, and he's going to continue to clean up along with Papa Smurf swinging on everybody, and that's going to be another hold coming out from Splyce.
So interesting to me. Hardblue is always the last person standing. I wonder if he actually would just stop doing the flank Roadhog. He's trying to get the instant kills, and he's very good at it. But in this particular instance, I think with the payload being so close to the actual finish line, I would like to see him just push with the team, try and get the hook into his squad rather than trying to just be sneaky. Because Roadhog, he's a big target, and after your team dies, if he's not there and not being effective with that high health pool, then he's really not doing much at all. Especially even if he does get a hook kill and the rest of his team is dead. So hopefully they'll be able to get together a little bit here. There's a hook going out from Hardblue, does miss, but Flame is over there kind of taunting him with those Reaper shotguns. Nothing is really happening. JKW does manage to inch up the payload before Papa Smurf jumps in to contest.
Yeah, right now, Code 7 really trying to play for the picks as the barrage does come out, but it's going to be immediately cleaned up. Nicholas going to drop 2 sickness right now. Clockwork on top of the 2 tanks of Code 7. The res does come out from Shake, so it's going to be a full 6v6 again. Torque in the back with that Widowmaker hasn't been able to do much at all, but it's going to be Clockwork getting that kill onto Nicholas, and they're going to push them back again. That's 3 kills, and right now Code 7 are reeling. They're having very a difficult time trying to mount this offense in this last final push here on Hollywood.
Can be pretty difficult, especially with the payload taking so much space in the choke that you've got very narrow angles of attack. You've got Farah up on top, Clockwork just scouting everything, able to call out to his teammates very quickly where everyone is, how they're coming in, and you can see defense actually running way in, going super deep. If anything bad happens here, I feel worried for them, but Kozin does have that Mercy res, so they are comfortable. They have a little bit of cushion to work with. Sickness and Papa Smurf both getting picked up, but Flame misses the res. Kozin down to just 2 HP or something like that, and it looks like offense actually mostly alive now after this exchange.
Yeah, and we saw in the back line there that Papa Smurf wasn't able to get that Earth Shatter off, actually went right into the Reinhardt shield. Now if you're trying to contest over here, we do have the beat getting dropped by Code 7 as JKW is just trying to swing. Clockwork goes for the barrage, but immediately gets cleaned up, and that's going to be answered right on back. Nicholas going with the barrage of his own gets Kozin, and so that's the resurrection down, and they're going to continue to push forward. Code 7 cleaning up these last kills, and with that attack visor, that's going to be easy kill onto Flame, and that's Shake coming in with one last resurrection to finish this out.
Really good stuff there from Code 7. I gotta say, it looked like they were pretty unstoppable. We got a time of 7 minutes and 11 seconds for, who's that? Splyce to actually try to beat. Splyce was on defense there. Code 7 pushed in with a pretty quick time, I would say above average, so it's going to be a tall order for Splyce. Point A did not go Splyce's way. They basically had one stop before the Mercy res kind of undid everything, and then Code 7 were on their way. So if Splyce can get a really fast attack on A and keep that pace, I think I like their odds, but otherwise it's going to be rough. I think Code 7, of course, is very, very skilled. Torque and Nicholas have been combining for so many kills today. Hardblue, just one of the best Roadhogs out there. Shake with his money reses, always on point, always on time, picking up 4 or 5 people most of the time. Everything looking pretty good for them. I'm actually a little surprised they lost in their opening series in the winners bracket, but even that one was super close. So we'll see if Splyce has what it takes to continue on in this tournament. This is still game 1 of a best-of-3 series, but pretty good mark made by Code 7 to start us off.
Yeah, Code 7 looking like a new team, looking really rejuvenated. Even though they lost in the winners bracket and got knocked out, I mean, they got knocked out by Cloud9, so you can't hang your head over that. They are going to be on the defensive side here. Joe Meister on that Reaper. Nicholas is picking up that Farah. Torque on that 76. JKW is, of course, on the Reinhardt. Shake playing that Mercy, which he's been playing fantastically all tournament long, and Hardblue on that Roadhog doing a great job in the last game, finding crucial picks to be able to allow Code 7 to push in really quickly.
What are you looking at, says Reaper over and over and over. Joe Meister just spamming emotes there with Hardblue, but here we go. Doors are open. Let's get a look at these final compositions for the attacking team. It is going to be 2 tanks, 2 DPS, no, 3 DPS, and only 1 support. That's going to put everything on the shoulders of Shake, but they do at least have Roadhog and Soldier who can heal themselves. Reaper can heal himself if he manages to get some kills, but it can at least get out of battle very easily. So I like the kind of self-supporting composition that they've got. We'll see now who is going to be able to get this first blood and try to open the door here.
Yeah, speed boost in onto the backhand side, but they have to be careful as Torque has his position up top. Clockwork tries to force him out. He actually does knock him off, but it's going to be Jamerson that cleans up Papa Smurf. Flame, though, in the back, gets the kill onto JKW, so now it's a 5v5 fight as Nicholas is trying to hunt down Sickness here, but in the back, Torque is the one that's going to get the kill onto Clockwork as the teams are contesting over mid. Right now, it looks like it's going in the favor of Code 7. Sickness is there on the point to try and contest, but no, he's going to have to fall back. Ooh, nice hook coming in from Flame, but he's not able to follow that up. Papa Smurf tries to swing, but he's not going to land anything. And right now, Splyce have to fall back, have to regroup before they attempt another push onto this objective.
I'm pretty surprised that they actually didn't get more out of that. Or actually, I should say I'm more surprised that Code 7 didn't actually just lose everybody as everyone on Splyce actually was in pretty good health there, but now we've got ultimates starting to roll. You can hear the tactical visor there from, it looks like Torque up on the second floor of the cafe. Nicholas dropping that barrage at a perfect time, actually catches 3 members in conjunction with Jamerson's just regular old Reaper shots, so I think Splyce is going to get shut down completely here. Kozin does have that res, but it's going to have to be used at a further attack, not this one, as he's nowhere nearby to pop it.
Now, they do have the Lucio speed boost and Reaper combo that they can bring in. So they have been attacking from the backside, but I think this time they might be trying to push straight up through mid or through that server room right onto the point. We'll see how this pans out for them. Yeah, speed boost comes out there onto the point right now, and you can see Sickness is trying to find that value ulti as we do have the Earthshatter come out, but it only lands onto that Roadhog. He gets the charge, but the counter charge is going to clean that up now in the back line. It's going to be Nicholas who gets the kill onto Kozin, so that's the resurrection down on the side of Splyce. They have to be careful here. Hoblo tries to get a hook, but it's going to be Clockwork who comes out with that barrage, is able to pick up a few kills before he finally gets cleaned up, but again, that Mercy is down on the side of, or was down on the side of Splyce, so they're not able to reinforce as quickly.
That's 2 ticks secured here for the point. They are actually going to most likely complete it here, but we do have Torque running in to at least attempt to keep that overtime going. They do finally capture A, but it took them all of about 3 minutes, and they only had about 7 minutes, 15 seconds or so to start us off. So going to have to be 2 very swift pushes here through the next 2 legs, about 2 minutes each. And look at that, everyone on the offense is actually pushed so far up. No one is pushing the payload. Pure is off all by himself, just sitting, twiddling his thumbs. As Lucio, he could actually just spam emotes if he wants to, because the rest of his team is so far up trying to deny Code 7 the opportunity to set up on that high ground. But now they have. The payload has barely moved at all, and finally we're essentially starting this next section just now instead of 10-15 seconds ago.
All right, so Code 7 have maintained control over this high ground here. It was really weird to see that Papa Smurf was on the opposite end elevator, as we do have the attack visor coming out from Torque. He is damage boosted, but right now he's not able to get the targets that he needs because the Reinhardt barrier was still up.
Yeah, nothing happening there, but there's a nice barrage on the side of the defense. Nicholas gets basically 2 kills before going down. Jamerson still just hanging out on the payload itself, preventing it from moving forward. Shake brings everyone back into play. There's a sound barrier for the offense, pushing Splyce forward a little bit. They are still looking for those kills. Harblue switched off of Roadhog onto Winston now to contest a little bit easier. And he is going to fall. Splyce will continue pushing.
Yeah, right now it's Splyce making some good time here, but we did see on Code 7's attack, they went almost completely uncontested through most of this phase and were able to just finger roll that payload into the last checkpoint. Now Code 7 still maintaining high ground control here. We do have the charge coming out. JKW is going to be able to help clean up some kills. Now in the back, Torque with his attack visor will clean up most of Splyce here, and they've regained control over this payload.
Yeah, right now defense doing a wonderful job just sweeping through their Splyce all the way back at their spawn, forced to reform. They do have several ultimates available. Clockwork and Sickness could either one of them take out the majority of the defense, but Shake, as we've seen time and time again, pull up those massive reses. He's actually just hiding, lying in wait for this battle to go on. He is providing healing and damage amp to his long-range damage dealers. Oh, he gets caught by the Earth Shatter. Counter Earth Shatter does not do enough to keep him alive. Sickness comes in with the Death Blossom, and it gets a kill on Shake, but JKW still sitting on the payload. Everyone on Code 7 still just keeping the objective in mind, even though they did lose their Mercy. Mercy has res now to walk back to the fight, but Clockwork dropping that barrage does get the last kills necessary. Twerk, Joe, and Harblue all down. So I don't think Shake alone is going to be able to do anything, already being focused down by Flame. Pops the res. Joe Meister and Harblue at least came back into the fight, so there's only 1 minute 16 seconds left. This is actually a valuable res, allowing the rest of the team time to get here before the checkpoint opens the doors and moves the spawns.
And Shake proving why he's one of the best Mercies in the game right now. Only got two res off of that, but it was such huge value coming out for them. Right now, those Splyce continue to push up. It's a 3v5 currently, as Torek finds a kill onto Kozin, but Papa Smurf will swing on and taking him down. Sickness is going to clean up JKW, and they're going to be able to push this in. It looks like Joe Meister trying to contest for as long as he can. He does have Shake there to keep him topped off, so too much sustain, but he finally gets cleaned up, and there we go. It's going to be Splyce to finally get this checkpoint.
Yeah, only a couple of minutes left actually to try to complete the map though. How much? 45 seconds actually, so not a lot of time to work with. They basically need a perfect push here through the last stretch for Splyce, otherwise Code 7 will be taking this first map Hollywood, so we'll have to see, can they crush through, can they bulldoze? They've got 4 ults to work with, while defense only has the 1.
Alright, and it's going to be Code 7 that's going to aggress on to Splyce right now. We do have a Rocket Barrage coming up from Clockwork, but it's way too high up in the air. Isn't going to be able to find anything off that. Nicholas is the one that's going to clean him up. Sickness in the back will trade right on back, but still, it's in favor of Code 7 right now. The Mercies are still alive, so we can see the Resurrection coming out. That's going to be offensive and defensive. Kozin really low on health. He's got to be careful. He's going to get dropped. So now it's a 6v4, and Code 7 are forcing them away, and it looks like time is up, and Code 7 will secure this win against Splyce.
Yep, so 1 map out of the best of 3. Looks like they're still just going to battle it out. We won't get a play of the game either way, because if both teams finish, then it does the sudden death thingy. So sorry guys, not as many play of the games available for you in this mode that we're running, but definitely makes it a little bit easier on us, the tournament organizers, when you've got that very low downtime between rounds and stuff like that. So looks like Code 7 taking a 1-0 lead against Splyce. They will have the opportunity to fight back, of course, and there's 2 other payload maps. Looks like King's Row is going to be the choice for Splyce moving into Game 2.
Yeah.